Hello and welcome. You've tuned into In Your Interest here on News 9. I am Krishna Kumar and tonight the focus is on Delhi's air the day after Diwali. It's a grim story, a familiar one. This Diwali was not just a festival, it was a litmus test for every promise, every policy on air pollution. The Supreme Court lifted the blanket ban and allowed green crackers which were meant to be safer. But a day after the festivities, Delhi's air has turned into a weaponized fog. AQI levels have rocketed into the hazardous red zone. Governments and politicians from today and before are pointing fingers at each other while citizens clutch their throats. Picture this, just hours ago, Delhi's air quality index spiked to a brutal 351. And that is just the tip of the smog berg, as it were. By midday, it had clawed its way to 442, catapulting the national capital to the top of global pollution charts. It was worse than the smog-choked streets of Lahore in Pakistan or Beijing in China on their darkest days. That's not just a hyperbole. It's the harsh verdict from the Central Pollution Control Board, or CPCB, marking Delhi's worst post-Diwali air quality in 5 years. And the culprit is a toxic cocktail of firecracker fumes, relentless stubble burning from neighboring states' farmlands, and winds so calm that they're complicit in this atmospheric ambush. The numbers do not lie. Take a look at this. Delhi's AQI soared from 296 a day before Diwali to 345 on the day of Diwali, spiking even higher to 351 today, the day after Diwali. And if you think the last year was better, could have been better, think again. Pre-Diwali, Diwali night and post-Diwali AQI in 2024 all hovered in the mid-300s, well above the safe limits. And the smog is not just Delhi's solo suffering. It's a regional stranglehold rippling from Punjab's paddy fields to Haryana's heartlands and Uttar Pradesh's urban sprawl, including Noida. Amritsar's AQI tripled, Ambala more than doubled, and Lucknow followed suit. And these are not just isolated spikes. They are all symptoms of a shared respiratory reckoning for North India as a whole. At the heart of this crisis are two villains we've known for years, and they've now evolved into monsters under the radar. First, the so-called green crackers, touted as eco-friendly saviors, yet still spewing particulate matter that lingers like a bad hangover. It's a joke, with illegal imports flooding markets and green labels slapped on anything that explodes, anything that's a firecracker. And then, of course, there is stubble burning, the seasonal arson that's less from practice and more climate felony. On the eve of Diwali, the 20th of October, stubble burning hotspots blazed across the whole of North India. Remote sensing satellites spotted 45 fires in Punjab, 13 in Haryana, a whopping 77 in Uttar Pradesh, 38 in Rajasthan, 45 in Madhya Pradesh, and 0 in Delhi itself. Because the capital imports its poison. Zoom out to the build-up from the 15th of September to the 20th of October, and the inferno intensified. Punjab reported over 350 fires, Haryana more than 50, Uttar Pradesh a staggering over 557, Rajasthan over 200, and Madhya Pradesh nearly 300, 285. But what's to be noted is that this year's floods in Punjab and Haryana slashed the stubble incidence by 77%, which means that delayed harvests from climate anomalies brought us a brief reprieve, actually, which also means that the worst of stubble burning is yet to come. But let's not pretend that this is a sudden storm. It's a policy ping-pong match that's left us all breathless. Flashback to 2017 when the Supreme Court slammed the brakes on firecracker sales in Delhi for the first time, citing the right to clean air as paramount. Next year, it went nationwide with only green crackers permitted. 2020 and 2021 saw the order of total bans, which was flouted wildly as underground markets thrived. From 2022 to 24, blanket prohibitions extended to online sales, an iron-fisted approach that curbed some chaos. Yet, here we are in 2025. Ban lifted, green crackers green lit, and the air is giving us payback with its pollution. Governments are blaming each other and farmers for stubble. Farmers blame lack of alternatives. And citizens, well, we are left holding this hazy bag, wondering if accountability is just another burst of smoke.
जानबूझकर जो किसान नहीं पराली जलाना चाहते उनको जबरदस्ती पराली जलाने को मजबूर कर करके उनके मुंह बांधकर पराली जलवाई जा रही है। देखिए, पहले वीडियो देखिए। ये देखिए, तरनताल की है, ये बठिंडा की है, और सब में एक चीज कॉमन है। सब में कॉमन क्या है? इन सबके मुंह बांधकर इनसे जलवाई जा रही है। किसान पराली नहीं जलाना चाहता, लेकिन किसानों को कहा गया और ये सारा माहौल बनाने के लिए उनके बकायदा मुंह पे कपड़े बांधे गए, और देखिए कपड़े बांधकर उनसे मुंह से पराली जलवाई जा रही है, ताकि दिल्ली के अंदर इस पराली का असर हो और दिल्ली की सरकार को ये वो बता पाए। आज के अखबारों में छपा है, हाईएस्ट पराली की जलाने की घटनाएं कल हुई। अगर आपने नोटिस किया हो, मैं टीवी चैनल पे बोल रहा हूं, इसलिए सब ध्यान से सुन लें, और मेरी बात गलत है तो मुझे साबित करें। हाईएस्ट पराली जलाने की घटनाएं कल हुई हैं।
कल रात के आंकड़े तो उन्होंने सार्वजनिक ही नहीं किए। भाजपा एक नंबर की झूठी सरकार है। 4 इंजन की सरकार ने दिल्ली को 4 गुना प्रदूषण दे दिया है। भाजपा को आज जवाब देना चाहिए कि उन्होंने लॉन्ग टर्म मेजर्स में और शॉर्ट टर्म मेजर्स में ऐसे क्या स्टेप्स उठाए। दिवाली से पहले, दिवाली के बाद उनका क्या प्रोग्राम है, क्या स्टेप्स उठाने का प्रोग्राम है, क्या उन्होंने पुलिस की ब्रीफिंग की, पुलिस ने कल कितनी इंप्लीमेंटेशन कर पाए वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट के ऑर्डर की कि सिर्फ ग्रीन क्रैकर्स ही चलेंगे, और सुबह जो टाइम दिया और रात को जो टाइम दिया 10 बजे के बाद वो नहीं चलेंगे, उसकी किस हद तक इंप्लीमेंटेशन कर पाई भाजपा? इन बातों का जवाब दें।
पटाखों की भी एक बड़ी लॉबी है, करोड़ों रुपए का उनको फायदा हुआ है। उस फायदे को उन्होंने किस किस के अंदर बांटा है? कैसे ऐसा हुआ कि ग्रीन क्रैकर्स के अलावा भी क्रैकर्स बिके? इसका मतलब वो लॉबी जिसने अरबों रुपए के पटाखे बनाए थे, उसका सरकार पर दबाव था कि ये बिकवाइए, क्योंकि पुलिस की मौजूदगी में अगर इस तरह से हो रहा है तो ये तो साठगांठ की तरफ इशारा करता है।
आम आदमी पार्टी वालों को थोड़ी भी शर्म नहीं आती है कि अभी अभी तो इनका 11 साल का कार्यकाल समाप्त हुआ है, और हम बार बार कह रहे हैं कि हमें दिल्ली को उस परिस्थिति में लाने में जहां सबको बिल्कुल सांसों के अनुकूल, अपने स्वास्थ्य के अनुकूल दिल्ली हो, इसमें हमें 2 से 2.5 साल लगेगा। उसके बाद भी वही लोग जिन लोगों ने दिल्ली को इतना पोल्यूटेड किया, वो जब बोलते हैं तो मुझे बहुत हंसी आती है।
So the big questions that we're asking tonight are, can targeted subsidies for machines and crop alternatives end stubble burning as we know it? Are green crackers a genuine solution or a convenient myth? And when will center and the states unite for a real anti-pollution war room? And to talk about that further, we have a very special panel joining us. We have Dr. Sanjeev Agarwal, former Additional Director of the Central Pollution Control Board. We have Mr. Balendu Shekhar joining us on the phone line. And we have Ms. Bavreen Kandari, environmental activist, and Ms. Radha Goyal as well of the Indian Pollution Control Board. Thank you all of you for taking time out to be with us. Dr. Sanjeev, let me begin by asking you, I grew up watching these debates on TV, and today, here I am doing that debate after Diwali. Happens every single time, and it's gotten worse in the last decade or so, but this has been a problem for many, many decades now. And here we are still discussing. There is a Swaminathan Committee report that's been out that gets debated every single time you have this issue. And here we are having this conversation with the air quality index, going above 350, well above 400 in some places of Delhi.
You see, you are right. Now this is the high time now. Basically, I have seen just now. I have seen that 357 at Mandir Marg or some other places in the network. What I found, I think now this is the time we have to apply the graded response action plan. So the graded response action plan is the solution by the Supreme Court of India that has been given in 2016. So why people are? I think it is they are making the political. This time only.
But Dr. Sanjeev Agarwal, GRAP2 is technically in place as we speak. But the fact of the matter is that GRAP2 is already in place. GRAP1 was put in place a day before Diwali, and now GRAP2 is in place. But how effective have they been?
We have to upgrade. If it is not effective, then we have to go GRAP 3 or even GRAP 4. So final is the GRAP 4. So I think this GRAP 4 we can apply, and the government also the enforcement problem may be there, and some little problem of the burning, because what I saw in several years ago, even 4 or 5 years ago, huge amount of pollution is there in Delhi, and it is choking of Delhi. 900 AQI was there, even 1200 AQI I have seen. It is now only 400, up to 400. So why we are worrying? Why we are not whole year? We are not working. We are not sincere on this particular issue. Okay. Even the government agency should work very hard, and armed public should also work very hard to control the pollution. In the receiving environment.
Bhavri and Khandari, you're talking about the Supreme Court and the GRAP, graded response action plan. It was the Supreme Court which allowed the green crackers, and look where that has led us.
Absolutely, Krishna, and I'm, it was such a powerful statement that you made, that you were watching this as a youth and as a kid, and now you're, conducting a debate. That's exactly how many decades have gone, trying to, solve this. And yes, the Supreme Court itself had noted, in earlier hearings, which is in 2021 and 2023, that these so-called green crackers were neither enforceable or truly, less harmful, and all about, everything was said, everything was noted on fake QR codes, the chemical manipulation, all the challenges of traceability, and, they had clearly rendered the distinction meaningless. Yeah. And then for them to reverse and bring this back, it's a very misleading step, because after all, citizens will always follow the leaders. Supreme Court is supreme, there's nobody higher, and then the government, of course, is obviously saying the same things. So you tend to, even people in simplicity, who are not, everybody is not bursting crackers out of vengeance. The ones who actually gone and bought a box of, wanted to buy a box of crackers, now thinking green will even burst double the crackers, not knowing the, the technicalities and all these, the various, the green label, all the fake manipulation going on. So what was actually once a very hard-won public health safeguard has now, become a symbolic compromise. And as you see, Delhi's air is paying the price. Yeah. And as far as GRAP 2, yes, GRAP is being treated like like a celebration. It's a shameful thing that we are coming every year and we have to invoke GRAPs. Yeah. Various GRAPs. And yes, it should not be GRAP 2, probably it should be GRAP 3 or the beginning of GRAP 4 right now. But the complete force of the authorities, instead of admitting to this, is keeping it away, or, pretending like all is well. And that is what damages.
Yeah, Dr. Radha Goyal, the question that's arising in my mind is, even if all the crackers that were sold and bought were pure green crackers, can they actually not do the damage that they promised not to do? Or are we still believing something that we've been told to a long time ago, but very little truth is there to it?
So basically, if I talk, there is a lot of crackers noise behind me actually. A lot of crackers are bursting behind me. So even if the crackers, they are burning, so even if they are calling about the green crackers, but they are not the zero emission crackers. Maybe the percentage vary, like hazardous chemicals, the toxics which the crackers are having and the green crackers, 40% difference is there as per the NEERI report. So it doesn't mean that if you are allowing the green crackers, which means that there is no pollution. Pollution will remain. But I would like to emphasize here that we always, as Bhavat rightly said, that we always implement graph 1, 2, 3. We already know that we are entering in October month, where Delhi, like city, where the climate is playing very important role. It becomes the punch bowl for everything. Stubble burning, firecrackers, even in festive seasons, last 20 days, lot of traffic pollution, long traffic jams for 2 to 3 hours, which is itself contributing to Delhi's air quality. So if you have observed in last 20 days, it has come to the poor level. And immediately just after the Diwali, on the day of Diwali, stubble burning started, firecrackers added on to it. So this becomes, from poor to very poor and then severe. So I think the planning has to be in the advance, that we know that this is going to happen.
Right.
So it should be in that stage, yeah.
Okay. Dr. Sanjeev Agarwal, this time around, you're talking about paddy burning, stubble burning. The fact of the matter is that stubble burning season has been delayed. And, the Diwali season has been preponed this time. It's early. And yet, here we have, air quality, hitting very poor levels. Which means, basically what I'm trying to say is the fact that the worst is yet to come as far as stubble burning is concerned.
You see, not only stubble burning, suppose there is a 1 million places, suppose locations, if you are burning it, huge amount of smoke will come out. So that will spread over the whole city. So it is stubble burning first thing. Second thing is the your biomass burning in the local areas, local locations. And third is the vehicular emissions. So all these three, maybe four. Last one is the resuspension of dust. Make a cocktail of the pollution, and this making the choking of this. I have told several times ago also in several my TV show. So this is the real problem. Even this is 351 showing, but I have seen in last few years 1200. It crosses more than 900.
My goodness.
So
900.
900, more than 900 I have observed a few years ago in Delhi. So why only this Deepavali? I think this is unnecessary making a political issue.
The question is, why also this Deepavali? Why also this Deepavali? Bhavrin Kandari, we can't be discussing this topic on national television year after year, the day after Diwali. And in that sense, there has to be greater center and states coordination. That's step number one. Them pooling in resources and pooling in forces to fight it every single year and keep improving on that levels of coordination. Right now, there seems to be none.
Absolutely. We have everything simultaneously has to be clamped down on major local sources, and then you have to build a coherent regional airshed mission, like invest in enforcement. Real-time data, incentives. These are the things that you have to bring in. See, this is all systemic changes. And of course, I don't agree with any of the blame gaming that, so you screened with all the political leaders who were speaking, the past and present. But one thing was correct, that you cannot even expect the changes immediately, like in a month or two. And we're not looking for those, ad hoc kind of measures, because everything that's being said in terms of whether, in winter action plan or under whatever names, is all post-pollution, that you create pollution and then you clean it. That is not what's going to get us the clean air. What's going to work is when the government and the authorities will work, absolutely religiously on the sources of emissions. Now, sources of emissions means all your industrial, vehicular, stubble, firecrackers, any emission. We are speaking, as you and I speak, we are speaking from the most polluted capital of the world. We cannot do any mistakes. There is no question of adding any emission to already what we have. So that means that you have everything, whether it's your waste management or it's your industrial. We have our news feeds which are full of complaints by citizens, which is the threads are like years long. Every day, every week, they are repeating the same complaints. So that is where the enforcement needs to come in. There has to be absolute no scope of corruption, no scope of laxity. The pollution boards have to be empowered. Mostly every pollution board is short-staffed. They are not trained. There are no quick reaction teams. They are not well equipped. that is where the changes will begin. When you're intrinsically you will become strong, then on the ground things will start showing up.
Dr. Radha Goyal, that's where the lacuna seems to be very clear, isn't it? Not enough people, not enough resources being plowed into containing the situation. That is bad, not just for the elderly, the children, or or the ones having diseases. It's the worst thing to happen for all of us over here, and yet not enough manpower and resources are going into it, into combating it.
Yeah. So actually, government has to plan throughout the year plan. It is not like that we are just planning for 1 month or 2 months. We know the Delhi situation. Delhi is lying in its geography is like that. As the winters arise, it will happen every year. I have seen the situation in 2019 when Dr. Sanjeev rightly said that AQI was more than 900. Even the air quality monitors were not able to record it more than 999. It's always 1000 above. It was hazardous. But now the question, you rightly said, it is now not only the elderly people and the children who are affected, who are suffering, even the healthy persons, their health is getting suffered. So very stringently and very strategically, government, state government, central government has to take this issue as a priority and political agenda, maybe the election agenda. It's very important. Ma'am, rightly you said that there are so many co-factors. You cannot only blame after Diwali. Why always we discuss about the air pollution when there are so many factors? We know that traffic pollution in Delhi, like there is no policy regarding how we are controlling our vehicles. Why there is so many registrations of vehicles in Delhi? We know that. There is a waste management issue. Every time your landfills are getting the fires, why there are not the regulations against it? So we have to synergistically and holistically, we have to look for several issues together if we really want to improve Delhi's air quality. Single solution, just stopping firecrackers on the occasions of Diwali will not serve the purpose. So that's what I want to say, because the health is primary and we now have enough data actually. We know that season is changing and every time people say that season is changing and health issues. Right. But because of the pollution, there is a problem.
Dr. Sanjeev Agrawal, the reason why I'm going to bring this to you, I asked this question because, yes, sure, there needs to be a year-long plan. But when we clearly know that everything from the weather conditions to wind conditions aid toxic pollution during this period, shouldn't there be a designated task force, a designated plan just for these 2 months?
Yeah, you see, we have to strategically move. Even government should move strategically. Even people should also involve in that. This particularly 4 months are very, very, very harmful to the human being, in the sense that because of inversion, because of low temperature, there will be no dispersion of pollutants. So I think all this makes havoc or panic into the public. So there is a huge fog you can see, or maybe smog you can see after some times. If even temperature becomes 18 degrees Celsius, then it will be very, very difficult to control it. So we have to control pollution at the source very strategically, and we should have a plan for that long before, much before. Yeah,
we should have had a plan, and I don't know why we don't have a plan. Babrin Kandari, the only thing I have to ask at this stage is that I mentioned this at the beginning of this conversation that we are yet to get into the worst of the stubble burning season. Even now, we can do something to ensure that our suffering is reduced. We're going to suffer either way. But even now, something can be done to ensure that our suffering can be minimized for the rest of the season, isn't it?
Yes, Krishna, it's as simple as that. Even in the 2019, the Supreme Court had, instructed the state government and the center to incentivize the farmers. There was a certain amount of, I think, 300 rupees a quintal, which of course is irrelevant right now. It has to be much more. That should be done, and it's still not implemented. Now, the courts also have to understand that if everything is, the ban is flouted and nothing is being listened to, then they should take an offense. After all, it's the highest court of the country, and why is everybody, doing the best to content? It's very simple with the farmers if they're incentivized. And also, I want to clarify something which recently in the last 2 days, with some, journalists and, anchors as yourselves, who are doing so much work, but there's a misconception that the stubble is being burned, that it's the stubble which is lying there and it's burned. It's not like that. It's the the cedars that come in and cut the stock leaves one
Right.
and a half, about 1 foot of thing, which is stock, which is difficult. Now they don't have time, so they burn that. And so there is a flaw with the seeders,
Yeah.
and either they improvise the machines or they actually, get back to manual hand harvesting, considering we're talking sustainability and life and all that.
Yeah.
So, and incentivize them for that. It's as simple as that. But I don't know why it takes years and years and years to keep talking and not, bringing this to action. The state
Yeah.
must,
Yeah.
take serious
Some-
note.
Something can be done so quickly, and yet it's been taking years. We really hope this time around we do find or start finding some solutions. But I'm afraid we completely run out of time over here on this conversation. Dr. Sanjeev Agrawal, former Additional Director of the Central Pollution Control Board, Bhavrin Kandhari, environmental activist, and Dr. Radha Goyal, Deputy Director, Indian Pollution Control Association. Thank you, all of you, for taking time out to be with us here on News 9. And with that, it's a wrap here on this edition of In Your Interest. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.
खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कर आता है, आगे आगे